Hello and welcome to R.T.V News. It's Wednesday, 20th August 2025, and I am pleased to bring to you this edition of our news program happening on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays live on Redeemer Television at 8:30 p.m. On Channel 25, and also streaming live on our Facebook page and YouTube, Redeemer Television. R.T.V News is your source for news, views, comments, analysis and other issues happening across the country. For today, I am your host, Daniel S. Misali. Coming up in today's program, the Sierra Leone's Minister of Environment and Climate Change, Jiwo Abdullahi, has raised concerns over the dangers of buildings around the Takugama Chimpanzee Sanctuary. As well, the Minister of Health has held a national discourse on Sierra Leone to the Mpox virus at the Atlantic Hotel in Aberdeen, Freetown. 8 years after the tragic Freetown mudslide, concerns are rising once again over environmental destruction in the city. All these and much more, plus music break, today in history, international news are all outlined for you in this edition of R.T.V News, so stay tuned. We'll be back. Welcome back. This is R.T.V News, and you can send us your thoughts via text or WhatsApp to the number 079-716-255, or kindly drop your comments or concerns via the comment section on our Facebook platform and YouTube, Redeemer Television. Now let's dive into the first story of the day. At the weekly press conference organized by the Ministry of Information and Civic Education, Sierra Leone's Minister of Environment and Climate Change, Jiwo Abdullahi, has raised concerns over the dangers of building around the Takugama Chimpanzee Sanctuary, urging collective responsibility in protecting the country's natural environment. Let's join Nancy Toure on this report.
The Minister of Environment and Climate Change, Jiwo Abdullahi, has sounded a strong warning against unchecked human activities around the Takugama Sanctuary. Speaking during the Ministry of Information and Civic Education's weekly press briefing, the minister cautioned that construction around the sanctuary poses serious risk to both the wildlife and the broader ecosystem. He emphasized that safeguarding the environment is a shared responsibility, reminding the public that natural resources are a gift from God which must be preserved for future generations. We must all watch carefully, take responsibility, and ensure that what has been given to us remains in good hands, he said. Calling for unity in protecting Sierra Leone's natural heritage, adding her voice, Paramount Chief...
If now you they go build house, they go inside the baboon and they remember you said you wife, you picking them when they can't well me self they go after them. Not to government can save you. By the time government they get them, they don't do the injustice. So they are not avoid that kind of situation. When you see Takugama, they say there's a law. Now because they want to protect people there. Now we not get to that point where the baboon then says that they can seek justice against the people there. They are the people now. This is about we mangrove and we other wetlands there. Now God don't give it for use. Make we use them wisely. Make we use it in a sustainable way.
This is, I said it before, this is not just a local question and in local communities here. It's a conundrum that we face globally. We have come to a point where the quality of life is driven by harmful practices across the planet, and not first of all in Sierra Leone, and we know that. So we need to answer ourselves the question how we can actually put the resources that we have, the natural resources, of which Sierra Leone continues to have many, to best use, to our own benefit. And I think this is best done when you give power, influence, decisions to the communities that are close to these natural resources. And I think we all have to be watching what is happening with our resources.
Regarding commercial break to the Mpox virus at the Atlantic Hotel in Aberdeen. The event brought together media, civil society development partners, and health officials to assess the progress and discuss strategic ways in combating the outbreak. The national discourse underscores Sierra Leone's proactive approach in managing public health threats, ensuring that the fight against Mpox remains a top priority. There is more to the story.
Since the first cases of Mpox were reported in January 2025, Sierra Leone has declared a public health emergency, recording over 5,000 cases and more than 4,900 recoveries. In his opening remarks, the Minister of Health, Dr. Austin Demby, expressed gratitude to President Julius Maada Bio and the government of Sierra Leone for providing $1.7 million in financial support to fight the virus. Dr. Demby highlighted key interventions, including the establishment of Mpox response centers in Hastings, Calabar Town, and Potloko, alongside isolation units in government hospitals. He noted a significant of centralized care and intensive contact tracing has played a critical role in containing the outbreak. Dr. Demby also praised Sierra Leone's strong vaccination record, which facilitated the acquisition of over 200,000 doses of Mpox vaccines. The national discourse provided a platform for stakeholders to evaluate the response, share insights, and reinforce the government's commitment to transparency and citizen safety. The ministry reiterated its dedication to achieving zero Mpox cases through continued vigilance, case-by-case surveillance, and community engagement. Daniel Misale reporting for R.T.V News.
The Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education (MBSSC) has convened a high-level meeting with top officials from the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Local Government, Ministry of Transport and Aviation, and local council authorities to address issues relating to the management and safety of school buses nationwide as we approach the reopening of schools. Let's hear more of the story.
Augustine Koroma, National FQSE Program Coordinator at the Ministry of Basic and Secondary School Education, explained that the meeting is part of preparations for the reopening of schools on September 8, 2025. He noted that last year, coordinators of the FQSE Secretariat and officials from the School Quality Assurance Directorate identified several anomalies affecting pupils' safety and learning. To ensure that school buses operate smoothly and safely across the country, the ministry has partnered with other line ministries, departments, and agencies, Koroma stated. The meeting held at the MBSSC headquarters conference room was attended by the Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, Honorable Conrad Saki, Deputy Minister 1 of Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, the Chief Education Officer, Deputy Ministers from Finance and Local Government, Chief Administrators from local councils, and senior officials from the Ministry of Transport. The collaborative effort highlights the government's commitment to safeguarding pupils and improving the efficiency of school transport.
Let's take a quick look back at what happened on this day in history. It was on this day, on August 20th, 1997, tension. Nigerian Planning Minister Ayo Ogunlade, responsible for ECOWAS affairs by then, announced that the ECOWAS summit, scheduled for the following week, would likely agree on the use of military force to remove Sierra Leone's military junta from power. Ogunlade emphasized that dialogue had failed and that coercion would be necessary to flush out Koroma and his junta, warning that the military forces of 16 West African countries would be deployed if needed. At the time, Sierra Leone's military ruler, Johnny Paul Koroma, was not invited to the summit as his government had not been recognized internationally. The then President Tijan Kaba, the country's democratic elected leader, was recognized and eligible to attend, though it remained uncertain if other heads of state had extended invitations to him. The Nigerian press quoted General Sani Abacha, Nigeria's leader, asserting that the military intervention was inevitable. Similarly, Ghanaian President by then, Jerry Rawlings, called for lessons to be drawn from the crisis, stressing the need for the military to return to constitutional order while acknowledging the realities facing President Kaba. Meanwhile, a group of Sierra Leonean, calling itself the Sierra Leonean Democratic Salvation Movement, issued an ultimatum to the military junta, demanding that it relinquish power by August 30 or face full-scale military confrontation. The group that it had well-trained and disciplined soldiers ready to intervene. Calhoun also expressed support for ECOWAS intervention but criticized the organization's delay in acting with Sierra Leoneans were suffering from starvation and instability. That day marked a critical point in Sierra Leone's history, highlighting regional and local efforts to restore democratic governance and bringing stability to nation grappling with military rule and human crisis. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of R.T.V News, coming to you live from Redeemer